Okay, good afternoon. Today we are going to talk about teaching English in a real classroom for primary schools in Argentina. So far, as you can see, this is a demo lesson. It is a demo lesson because we do not have kids here, so it's a demo lesson. And following the diseño curricular, the regional syllabus in Provincia de Buenos Aires, I have chosen a topic, past tense, which is situated in the 6th grade. And my approach to this lesson would be the topic style. I have chosen a topic which is holidays, and talking about holidays, I am going to teach past tense. So, let's get started. Let me see. Okay, this demo lesson is aimed to show an effective lesson in a real classroom following the national syllabus, the regional syllabus. In Argentina, every provincia has the right to make their own syllabus. Okay, what are my fundamentals in this lesson for the 6th grade? First of all, my objective is settling firmly an effective path for real learning. What should we do? I always tend to say that when you have to teach a lesson, first of all, pay attention. What do you need to teach? What are you going to teach? What is imperative for you to teach? And then choose in which of these spaces, because every topic is always huge, you have a space to choose. Choose where do you feel more comfortable, where you as a teacher feel more comfortable to start with. Start there and then continue with all you have to do, but always start with the right foot. Start where you feel you are confident, you are proud of yourself, and you believe that you will succeed. This is the first step always in every profession. Okay, what should we do to set an effective lesson? Generating communicational situations. Today, the national curricula in language, which is Spanish in Argentina, and also a foreign language, which is English, is totally focused in building communicational skills. So, settling spaces to share and communicate is the most important aspect of your lessons. Making students participate in different activities. Reading, of course. Communication is not just talking. Reading, writing, understanding, talking, and of course, sharing. We are in a group. We are social animals, social beings. Giving the right feedback to the student. This is very important. When we make correction, it is important to realize that the student is ready to get it. There is no use of correcting something if the student is thinking in another aspect and will not pay attention to you. So, giving the right feedback is also a question of timing. Speaking with intention, as my teachers say, speak with intention. Do not speak nonsense. Measure the impact of your lesson, of your activities, and of course, as everybody loves to say nowadays, learning by doing. But don't do a cliche with that. Do it properly. Okay. The regional syllabus, the so-called diseño curricular. In Provincia de Buenos Aires is aimed to develop conversational skill and communicative based in constructivism and linguistic approaches. The theory of speech is also the central kern of the teaching, and these special topics that I am going to mention: generative grammar, systemic development of meaning, sociocultural theories of learning, this is the most in our curriculum, task as a unit of work for each class. Task should involve preparation, core tasks, and follow-ups. So I will stop here. What is a task? A task is an unit, and it should include a preparation, étage, a core task, the most important. What is your aim of the lesson? This should be the core task, and the follow-up or the monitor. I like to say monitor than follow-up. Task-based learning is a must in our system. Most teachers apply it. Learning and diversity, of course, respecting diversity is a value, plus democracy. Literature input in primary school as well as secondary school, and in Spanish language as well as English language, teachers are encouraged to make a clear, real, consequent, and fluent input of literature for their students. And when possible, individual, when possible, not always, individual assessment. Okay, let's continue. I had made another videos to explain the diseño curricular for English in every grade. In Buenos Aires province, we start with the English lesson in the 4th grade. Generally, we have in cuarto grado, 4th grade, description and to be verb. This is a main objective of the syllabus. For the 5th grade, the objective is to learn about present simple and present continuous. And for the last grade of the primary school, where we are going to focus now, is past tense, suggestions, and comparisons. We are going to work on past tense. Oh, okay. This I have written in Spanish because in every country is different. In Argentina, we talk about exponentes lingüísticos, but this is not a clause. It's not a numerus clausus. The grammar items will be must, should, mustn't, the imperative form, do this, don't do this, don't do that, simple past, regular and irregular verbs, there was, there were, some, any, most, and some pronouns, comparatives, and superlatives. Okay, this is I write it in Spanish because most of the time it is important to pay attention to the denominations, the so-called in formal aspects. Sometimes it's very important. Also, there should be focus in prepositions, behind, above, in front of, expressing suggestion, good to like, cup of tea, and of course, marcadores discursivos, question, as well as question marks. Okay. Teaching. Now we go directly to our topic. Now we go directly to our topic. Language functions, talking about past event, grammar, past simple of regular and irregular verbs, son of dance, of course, and vocabulary for holidays, sports, seasonal activities. And also, when talking about phonology, it will be nice to make students realize of the different pronunciations of the ending of ed, as wanted, played, or walked. Okay, I am a big fan and I have a lot of enthusiasm for Agenda 2030. I have already won a prize teaching global goals, so I think it's very important to focus on the objectives of the agenda. And one of the objective number 4, is quality in education, promoting 6 skills which are also part of the syllabus in our country, and they are the following: critical thinking, problem solving skills, team management, communication, self-awareness, social engagement. It is important that the student not only get the content, but also this kind of values, this kind of skills, this kind of practical knowledge for the everyday life. Okay. Approaching a real lesson. Most of the time when we are at Formación Docente, we get a lot of information about theories, people who think about different aspects of the classroom, but it is important to see how does it work actually. Okay, I will try to show this. Even it is also a theory, it's a demo lesson, it's also theory, but I will try to approach to the reality as much as I could. The class follows a dynamic and structure, which involves interaction with the teacher. So, you are the teacher, you as a teacher, you are in the center of the classroom. It's your responsibility, it's your classroom are your students. So, interaction between teacher and students is very important. Interaction with a partner. Students may talk to each other. Individual outreach. Most of our students could be introvert people, and most of the time when we force them to work in a team, to working with peers, to work in social environment, maybe they will not show their best. And to be real inclusive, you have to think about all the individuals, also the introverts, our treasure, the treasure of civilization, a global conversation. Teacher input must be permanent, and expecting an output from the students is also very important, but do not force them for the output if they are not ready enough. So, making a Zusammenfassung, we will say teacher activity, student activity, group activity, reflection, and further steps. Reflection is not an act of contrition where you have to confess all your things. No. Reflection is analyzing what you have done, what you have to do better, what you didn't do, etc. And with reflection, you can plan further steps. You can improve. In general, when we sit our student from our students for international examinations, they are tested. In general, when we see national examinations, they are tested in rhythm, listening, speaking, and writing. So, these 4 skills should be empowered in every lesson. Most of the time you will say, well, I cannot do everything at the same time. Of course not, but you have to pay attention. Not to spend a lot of time without practicing any of them. Not to spend a lot of classes without, for example, a listening. A lesson plan. Well, now we go directly to my lesson plan. Let me I am here. Okay, warming up. When we talk about warming up should be truly connected with the topic of the lesson. You may have a wonderful warming up, but it is not related with the lesson, it's not successful. It has no use, okay? Well, in this lesson plan for holidays and past tense, we are going to start our warming up. We are going to start our warming up with a listening activity. And the idea is to show a short video about summer holidays. This will be a prompt, a triggering. In the second step, we are going to speak, setting triggering questions. The teacher will set triggering questions to make the students talk about the video, remembering or adding their opinion. Example: what do you like the most from the previously viewed summer holidays? The students, they will say, what have they seen and what did they like the most. To improve communication, teacher may use the blackboard. I always say the teacher and the blackboard is the most effective and the less expensive resource in the world for teaching. So do not be ashamed to stand in front of your classroom next to the blackboard writing. This is what you have to do. Okay, teacher may help writing structures in the blackboard and also should suggest vocabulary or answer the question the students will make about vocabulary. We are going to start now. Okay. Reading. We are going to start very traditionally with the reading. Okay. The first step, reading of the lesson. We are going to start in a very traditional way with the reading. And the reading is a short story that I have already written, and it's called Lost in the Black Forest. It's the story of the real life that happened to me many years ago. In the writing, you will see, in the text, you will see a lot of structures of past tense and a kind of adventure in the Black Forest. After the reading activity, the students must complete this fill in the gap exercise. That will be their first writing. And in this exercise, they have to complete sentences such as "It a superb summer holidays." All these sentences are truly connected with the previous text. Following that, we will have another writing, but now the student must express themselves. Students must write a telegram message or WhatsApp message to their friends retelling what happened to Miss Beatriz in the Black Forest. They will engage with that because they are in front of the main character of the story. So it's interesting. They will laugh a lot about me also because the story is funny. Okay. Following with this, we have another writing where they have to make a grammar exercise, as you will see. You say, in this situation, the student will have to say an idea, completing this sentence. I went to the Black Forest. What is the suitable question for that? We are expecting the students to ask, where did you go? And converting this, your partner will say, where did she go? In every example, as you can see, there are plenty of verbs in the past tense, most of them irregular verbs. Speaking 4. Here we go back to speaking. I do not forget the speaking. Okay. looking at the given pictures, the student has to tell what happened. They have to create a short story by speaking and using the pictures as connectors of the story. So they will start on a sunny day, sailing in a boat, and they will continue with the pictures to finish a clear story. We are in activity 5. I like to introduce short activities but very dynamic, making the students practice all the skills. In this speaking part, we continue with the speaking. Students will talk about the holidays of their dreams, and they might think of traveling, accommodation, weather, activities, and places. These activities is oriented to those students who, for example, sit for Trinity test examinations, where they will have during the exam a mind map to guide them, but they are not allowed to read. So the students should not make long sentences or paragraph or a text or a study by heart. They must write down as a bullet list or a mind map general ideas or keywords about these points, which are the different aspects, items they are going to talk in their exams for their topics. For example, holiday is a very popular topic. It allows a lot of speaking about different seasonal activities, family affairs. The student will be free to use a lot of vocabulary, and for the examiner will be an interesting conversation, an interesting interaction with the students, because every holiday will be different. So I truly recommend this if you are going to prepare your students for a Trinity test. Okay, continue with this. We continue with the speaking. As every partner have already talked about the holiday of their dreams, students now are able to make questions about the things that the students hadn't said before. So they will ask new questions. We can introduce a variation here, making a pair of students, those who are the most talkative, the most extroverts, to dramatize the dialogue for the whole class. It will be a funny moment of inspiration where they will continue speaking, obviously, and they will learn by doing. After so much speaking, we will go back to writing. And here, students can make questions and answers using the given verbs. As you realize, these verbs are irregulars, and when they make the question, did you eat a traditional dish? They must change the structure of the verb, and this will help them to remember the writing and how every verb is said in the past tense. It will be interesting doing this by writing, because when we write, we have a little more time to think. When we think of the Latin language, we say writing, redigere, what is organized in the original language. And we have speaking, which is expressing. When we express something, we are not calculating. We just take out what is inside But with the redigere, with the writing, you create a more robust insight. That's why I truly recommend writing for young kids. Okay. Oh, we continue speaking here. An awful holiday. If you see the picture, there was a kind of flooding. So, looking at the pictures, students should create a story. That will be almost the end of the class. So they will talk a lot. They could also remember some anecdotes of their own about many floodings here in Buenos Aires or in Argentina in general. Or outside. Imagine that you went to another country and you was in the flooding. Awful holidays. And the last activity, as we are ending the year, would be my Christmas board. We can ask students to bring pictures about their special Christmas celebration. Especially now, because last year with the pandemic season, many families could not join for Christmas. That's why for many kids, remembering their last Christmas all together with the whole family would be very telling and very emotional, so they will engage with the activity. With their picture, they can create, or the classroom, the teacher can create a Pinterest board to show, or a Padlet to show all their pictures and the explanation of the students. They can also make a short video showing their pictures and explaining. This would be a very emotional activity and a loose to celebrate, which is also needed. Okay, after the 10 activities I have already planned, it could be suitable for one lesson or more than a lesson. Depend on the students. Okay, let's go to the assessment criteria. Assessment criteria. This is very important. In Argentina, in our diseño curricular, it's very important to mark this. Many teachers, also many experienced teachers, make these mistakes. That's why I think it is important to have it clear. When we set the assessment criteria o criterios de evaluación, as you will see it at the diseño curricular in Argentina, you have to pay attention to 3 items. First of all, the mental process. What do you want from your students? Recognize, tell, write, express, explain. It should be a verb and it should be expressed in presente del indicativo del español. Present tense of the indicative mode in the Spanish language. This is very important. In English, sometimes it is formulated in a different way, but in Spanish, in our diseño curricular, you have to write it always en presente del indicativo y en tercera persona. El alumno reconoce, el alumno explica, el alumno señala, el alumno distingue. Siempre se presenta de, always you have to express it in that way. This is very important. Do not use the infinitive. Most of the teachers use the infinitive. Don't do it. Your principal may tell you it's wrong. After the mental process, you should write the content. What are you teaching? Past tense, in this case. In another case, could be present tense, comparatives and superlatives, good, couldn't, should, shouldn't, modal verbs, okay? The content should be very clear clearly expressed in the criteria. This is very important. And finally, what is the tool? What is the activity that the teacher has decided to use for the assessment? So, the mental process, the content, and the activity. For example, the students distinguish regular and irregular verbs of the past tense in a given text. Or the students distinguish regular and irregular forms of past tense in a short story. This should be very clear. It's more a formal question, but it is your principal may ask you, that's why. Okay, after the assessment criteria, I would like to express my point of view about that. Most of the time, we teachers could be pushed to take collective decisions, group thinking, and etc. But my advice is that teachers are leading processes, not following. You as a teacher, you are leading, you are not following. So keep this in mind to plan your everyday, your year, and your career also. Well, thanks for watching. Thanks for this opportunity. Of course, I wish to have real students to put all this in action. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.